we've got a new Inside Star Citizen, and it's probably the biggest one we will ever see in our lifetimes. It's not going to change your life, but this is going to probably change the game for you. I think of all the things that everybody uses in the game, the Starmap is probably number one, mobiGlas obviously being included in that. And we're about to see Inside Star Citizen talking about the first updated model of these two things since 2017. This is a big moment for Star Citizen. Obviously, just as a regular player, it's not a big moment. It's just a map. All the games have them. But this game is freaking hard to map. And the Star Map is actually pretty interesting in the way that they try to include the smallest of areas and the largest of star systems. So we're going to go and check this out. And I will probably annoy you with some commentary. So if you don't want to hear the commentary, that sucks.
As Alpha 323 continues its journey towards becoming Star Citizen's biggest life in the verse as we know it patch yet, we know lots of folks have patiently waited to see one thing above all others: the Mist Raptor. What?
No.
The mobiGlas and Star Map app. The mobiGlas and newly christened Map app.
Oh boy, I'm about to be newly christened.
Arrival complete. Welcome.
These skits.
So
wow, it looks so good. Oh my gosh, I cannot believe it looks like this. So good, you almost don't notice a change.
So the mobiGlas is getting a massive visual overhaul for 323.
The version everyone's been living with for years is it kind of does the job, but you can see it's dated now.
So the entire mobiGlas is overhauled from what it was before.
There we go.
Using a new technology that we've built called
Muscle
cards,
Zane.
and we use cards for other UIs throughout the game. For the mobiGlas, it was a big
Look at this. New layouts.
task to convert because it has
I don't know though. We'll see if it grows on me. I don't know.
a lot of apps in it as well. So we need to convert all of those apps over to the new tech in order for the entire thing to be able to release.
So in 3.23, we've got...
Yo, she looks over the mobiGlas.
Release.
Look at it. This is the face of somebody who knows they're about to open a pre-3.23 mobiGlas. Okay, Tommy. Is it gonna be every day?
So in 3.23, we've got a really big improvement to the user experience. So everything's designed to look nicer and feel nicer.
Ready to upgrade.
And sadly, we haven't really had all the time we needed to get all the apps there. So you are going to recognize the VMA and the Comms app just as they have always been. But with that package, you're getting all the other apps with a visual update and also functionality updates for some of them.
You've got a completely updated home screen, so you can do things like view your ship.
Wow. You got ammunition readings from your vehicles on your home screen. That's pretty nice. Like, the home screen actually seems useful now. I barely ever looked at it. I don't know about all of you.
You can see your health, notifications, kind of the information you really need to see now.
So we're also getting a fully new health app where you can see all the things that's currently affecting your health and all the stats that you would normally see on your HUD.
Debuffs and stuff, huh? See, now this is where they can start to get crazy with the medical system. Yeah, there's a lot of space there for more details.
Your health and all the stats that you would normally see on your HUD.
Over time, we've added all these cool new things that can affect the player. So we're going to have things like radiation. We've got existing stuff like you can break bones. If you heal yourself, you can potentially overdose. You can have drug effects. All this.
What I can't get over, though, what is going on with the icons at the bottom?
If you heal,
that must be a glitch, right? With the current build, because you can't even see what the icons are. Man, this guy's got a lot of problems.
You can potentially overdose. You can have drug effects. All this cool stuff is happening, but it wasn't obvious to the player just walking around. what was going on under the hood. So we added this new app where you can track all that stuff.
So
those are some big old hit markers.
And what was going on under the hood. So we added this new app where you can track all that stuff.
So the health app is going to be the place to go when, for some reason, you're feeling ill and you just need that extra little bit of information of what do I need to do to take care of
Oh, that person was intoxicated. See, I wouldn't know. I'm a good person. I don't drink anything. I'm super clean.
myself to get out of this situation.
He didn't drink anything either. He stabbed himself in the wrist.
So the contract manager has been in the game for a long time, and it's just grown kind of obvious that it's not doing all the things you need it to.
All the functionality is essentially the same internally, but it needed a visual polish and also the...
That's cool. Okay, they have like timing readouts for mission availability. So things will actually be transitioning from available to unavailable.
It's not doing all the things you need it to.
I also like that, like the categories are collapsed and you just expand it instead of opening it in a new window. It's a little more concise.
All the functionality is essentially the same internally, but it needed a visual polish and also the user experience needed bringing up to date. So there's some new features like you can toggle between illegal missions, you can see what rewards are going to be ahead of time.
So no more randomly getting attacked by the police.
Thank God, dude. It was confusing to people that you would have a tab that said, I don't know what it said, something like normal missions, and then you had the tab that said personal, and it's like, okay, well, what is personal? Now it actually says unverified to tell you that these are not good missions instead of just not, like, it was hard to understand what personal could mean. I wonder if those will come in on a different app now, though. Oh, no, looks like Vaughn, these messages will still come to you. Maybe they're highlighted as green if they are a direct, no, that's the selected one. I don't know. Maybe there's no more personal section.
So no more randomly getting attacked by the police, hopefully. It's probably your fault anyway.
Some big improvements coming to the mobiGlas. That's coming in 3.23, but one thing we didn't talk about yet was the Starmap.
Let's go.
We've had the original Starmap in Star Citizen for a long time, so it was overdue.
Zoom in on the planet, do it.
Don't get me wrong, like the old Skylink app, it did what it should. Don't get me wrong, like the old Skylink
time, so it was overdue for an update.
Just getting a look at the freaking info panel looks so much better. This info panel was always very harsh on the eyes.
Don't get me wrong, like the old Skylink app, it did what it should, but I think it has grown a bit obsolete.
No, death to the old Starmap!
That's harsh.
The original one just showed the stars and planets and so on, but we wanted to expand on that.
So opening up the star map for the first time in 3.23, you're gonna realize that the star map is not just the star map anymore. It's the everything map.
It's now called Maps app rather than Starmap.
And why did we change it?
Because we now have the interior map, so this shows like your local area, as well as sort of zooming out and showing the star map.
So what is the interior map? It's a bird's eye view of the current environment.
Here's my thing. Actually, I'll let him go. I'll wait.
It's a really cool 3D map, so instead of just having a top-down view, this is showing you the actual level.
And it's presented as a...
I don't know if it's like... I wonder if we can change the opacity.
Instead of just having a top-down view, this is showing you the actual level.
And it's presented as a fully schematic 3D view in which you can find every relevant point of interest, such as a shop, transit station, hospital, and the like.
You can get them for ships, for landing zones in 3.23. In future, we'll expand on that and add it to more areas.
And if you're not familiar with the location you just arrived to, or you're a new player and you're not familiar with any of them, actually having the spatial awareness of where the things that are relevant to you are is going to provide a giant step up in terms of the experience of the game in general.
I definitely thought he was going to say something different there.
As it's fully 3D, you can move around, navigate between floors, zoom in and out, and so on, as you'd expect.
You will see the local area where you're walking around, something you've never been able to do before. Essentially, you'll be able to navigate between all the different rooms and different important areas of the game.
It also offers a way to overlay your own data onto it that is specific to you. So, for example, the location of your mission objective.
Waiting for some really key details on functionality here before I start talking. And I'm talking now, but like I don't want to... Yeah, I'm going to give them some time.
Custom markers.
That's great. Custom markers is the best part of this.
You can also use it to plot a route to another location on the map. Drop a marker and navigate to it, so we'll see a line on the map that shows you where you can actually go and where the easiest way to get there.
So on that map, you'll be able to just click any room you want to go to. You can go between the different zones of the area, and you can place a little marker and route all the way there.
So navigating is one of the primary use cases we want to make as robust as we can for 323. And so part of that involves providing a variety of fallback cases in order to help you best understand how to get somewhere. So for instance, if we ask the AI system and it can't return you a path via its nav links and nav meshes, we can ask the transit system. And if the transit system says there's a connection between the two zones, then that would help you route.
So at the time of recording, we're having issues loading all the different OCs that's in a big landing zone, for example. So we're looking into these solutions to make sure that you can track...
OCs being object containers, how they load different parts of the game.
From one part to a fully different part of the area.
So Starmap. Starmap is vastly improved. The main
thing...
thing
still looks difficult to see though.
We wanted to change was make it a nice user experience. So everything in there has been overhauled.
When you open your map, you'll first of all be confronted with your local area. So you'll see what room you're in and what's close to you. But you can also zoom out.
Okay, it is very cool that every ship you open the map on, there will be a custom overlay of that ship, and you can do route planning throughout the spaceship. That's sick.
And what's close to you. But you can also zoom out, and you will see the universe open up in front of you as you zoom out.
From here, we can see that...
I wish this transition was cleaner, though. Like, I wish it zoomed out from the city itself. They kind of just pop in the planet. I thought that might be something that they figured out since CitizenCon, but it still looks like it transitions like this.
As you zoom out.
From here, we can see the entire verse. We can see all the planets.
Space stations, Lagrange points, all of that good stuff. You can then click on any of those markers and you will be automatically panned and zoomed into them so you can see a little bit more detail about them.
Oh, that's what we've been looking for. Oh my god, in terms of trading and like hauling and stuff, this is the first bit of information that they've finally given us on the space stations you're going to. It kind of starts to lead into the idea that you can actually see what's at a space station before you go there. Hey, this place doesn't have a bathroom. Glad they let me know that. I guess,
if you're zoomed in on a planet, for example, you can zoom in a little bit more and you can start to see the surface locations. So you can see towns, outposts.
You get all the information you need about them. We're adding this new system where you can see all the amenities that are available at that location.
Thank you.
So for outposts, landing zones, and stations, there will be a section here for...
Right. The planetary surface map wasn't ready to be shown at CitizenCon. Maybe it's still not ready for now. Like, they're getting towards that. But maybe there's not that sort of mid-distance map yet.
Amenities, which will show you things like whether you can buy weapons here, whether you can buy ships here, whether there's a food court, whether there's a hospital or a clinic. All of these sorts of things you'll be able to see on those box outs, so you'll know which is the most appropriate location to go to. We showed in CitizenCon, obviously, that these display much better now, so you'll see them rotate with the map, and if they've gone behind the planet, they fade out, and if they're in front of your view, they're brighter, so you can see them more easily. So at the moment, if you zoom in, it will eventually get too big and you'll go through, but I am currently working on it so that it will zoom in to the surface and you'll never actually sort of clip through the planet.
Yay.
Generally, we tried to make it
feel
like a much more pleasant user experience, so there's things like Items don't disappear off the back of the map anymore. Everything's easy to read.
So as always, the star map is what you're going to want to use to route your way through the verse.
You can still set routes as you could in the previous version, but there is a little bit more feedback if there is a problem and you can't set a route, whether you don't have enough fuel or whether it's obstructed.
It's going to be so easy. It's going to be so intuitive for you you click the thing, and there you get the button to say set route. It doesn't always just have the ability to set a route, because you can't always set a route. We will let you know when you can set a route.
There are a few things that are new for this new star map that have not been seen in the old star map. The primary one there would be search. So we now have a...
Hold up. What is that? Is that a jump to an OM point first? Okay, yeah, OM 6. I'm like, wait a second. They're just telling you to stop and jump again? That sounds like quantum boost, which we don't have.
The primary one there would be search. So we now have a list of all locations. So there'll be a little drop down in your top left corner. If you open that up, you can see the full list of locations ordered by what is closest to you. And then you can also type any location.
Now I'm gonna have to actually learn the names of locations.
And it will appear. So you could type, for example, L1, and all of the Lagrange point ones would appear. So this allows you a lot more flexibility to finding what you're looking for when it's not as sort of, immediately right there when you're at the current view. So you can go all the way across the solar system to look at something completely different.
Wow, that looks great. That looks freaking fantastic, that lighting.
Star Citizen is a massive systemic game. We've got all this cool stuff going on. We've got multiple players doing things at different times. So we wanted to improve the overall interface from the player to that game world. So a big part of that is the new Mobi-Glass.
Finally, we've gone through this effort to refactor and do the whole Mobi-Glass hub from scratch. New maps, new applications, everything is using new tech, and we have a much more flexible and robust system for the Mobi-Glass under the hood.
When you're playing Star Citizen, it should be a smooth experience. You shouldn't be stuck trying to find whatever it is you need to find at the moment. We're helping you do that with the new apps, making it easier for you to find your missions or to even just find a place in the verse.
Now that we have that framework in place, then it's kind of the sky's the limit in terms of what we can do with it and how many apps we can develop for it. And it's all using new tech, it's clean, it's the way we want it.
The other big new feature is obviously the Star Map with the brand new interior map as well.
Star Citizen is a game about exploring. It is a game about spacefaring. And even so, even when you're not going around in space, it's still about exploring.
Without the Star Map, it's really difficult to do that, right? This makes it so much easier to navigate around, to finding what you want and where it is, and how to get there.
Overall, it helps the player interact with the world, get to where they want to, do what they want to do more easily and quickly.
Over.
Definitely.
Oh. I agree.
Man, old map's gonna be missed harder than Port Olisar.
So what did we learn this week? Well, we learned that Mobi-Glass is finally converted over to building blocks in the new card system, meaning that Flash, as we know it, has pretty much gone to live on a farm upstate. That the conversion sets the stage for the creation of multiple new apps going forward, and that the new internal map and Star Map have combined to become simply the Map app. Now, of course, remember that all things you see on ISC are a work in progress, and as any player of Evocati or developer alike may tell you, will continue to iterate between when you see it here and its upcoming release in Alpha 3.23. For Inside Star Citizen, I'm Jared Huckabee. Thanks for letting us share the process of game development with you, and we'll see y'all here next week.
You're all wrong. We're gonna miss the map fondly. Won't be able to stop thinking about it.
Hi, I'm not in this episode, but they told me to show you this.
Then... Wait, what did the name say? I can't even read that. Pre-coat. What? Something Comundo. It's 4K. Come on. Stupid computer. Pico Lando? Pico. What? Pecan Lando Dispenbed? I cannot read what that says. All right. So the map is great. I'm hyped. I'm hyped. It might seem like I'm not, but there was a lot of details in here missing. In fact, there were details in here missing that were at CitizenCon. So there's definitely going to be another update to the Starmap. Not just probably one. Man, so they didn't really explain. Let's go back to talk about the map.
It has grown a bit off.
Expand.
That the Starmap
Maps app rather than area.
It's a bird's eye view of the current environment.
It's a really cool 3D map. So
Schematic 3D view in which you can find every relevant point of interest, such as a shop, transit station, hospital, and the like.
you can get
I wonder what these navigational properties are based on. If this is like a local place to each area you go, or if it goes to somewhere else in the system. I thought they were going to talk here about custom markers somewhere.
To the game in general.
as it's fully 3D. You can
Provide a giant step up in
Custom markers are a big thing, and the fact that they didn't talk about sharing custom markers is sucks. That's a key detail to miss in this first release, because the most important part of this map, I mean, everybody gets to work off of this map, which is great. It improves the situation for all of us, but that's exploration right there. Like, that's an entire profession unlocked by a single little
custom
feature.
markers.
This right here. This is how you become an explorer that can make money, and you can't. It doesn't sound like you can share them, which really sucks. I hope that's something that comes later in 3.23. It's not like it ruins the addition of the maps, but it definitely takes some of the wind out of the sails for me. So the goal is, and I'm going to get to another point. The goal is that, like, this is the basis of exploration. Being able to go into the star map, find a nice resource, something useful, something valuable to other people, mark it, and then sell that location. It's introducing this stuff as a commodity as opposed to just a map tool, which is a big deal, and we don't see it. The other side of that is the receiving end, and that would be downloading maps. So something I wish that they did, because something I always enjoyed about this game was that they tried to label everything with physical maps and physical signs. So if you're walking through the city, if you pay attention to the signs, you know where to go. It's nice. It's not fully encompassing. It doesn't help everybody because you have to kind of teach that system, but it is nice that it's there. And I think they don't have to get rid of our dependence on that just because there's a map like this. What I was hoping they would do was every time you showed up to a new place, and he started to say this during ISC, every time you show up to a new location, I was hoping he was going to say, you have to download the map. Here's the CitizenCon presentation.
Default points of it.
And the idea here is that you get to a location, you go to the local map terminal. This could be in your hangar, it could be right outside hangars, it could be outside of bedrooms, wherever it is that it's easy to find. But it does require you to go to the actual map terminal. And then you can go down to the corner here and download the map, and then suddenly it shows up on your HUD. What I was also hoping they would include there is when you don't have the map downloaded, you get to see all of this. You can see this whole map and understand like what you're looking at, but you have to go and actually download the map to get all of these like labels and the legend and everything. That way, there's an idea of getting to new places and going through a process, but there's also still a map that can support you. And they're not talking about that. I know it's still part of their goal to have maps downloadable, but I'm not sure. I'm not sure if they're ever going to do that specifically, have you download maps when you get to places. They might have you download maps just to get custom markers or information from other players. So we'll have to see what they do with it. It's unfortunate that it's not in here, but it looks good. I think the star map looks pretty good. The fact that it's a combined map with everything else, that's the goal they've always set out to do. It's looking pretty nice. I hope there's more opacity controls and maybe a little bit more color thrown in here. But there's a lot of really good features in here. Search, the legend, the amenities, the ability to set the route, set markers, all that kind of stuff is good.